Hey everyone, so I'm reviewing this uh, tonight because I have a pretty busy day tomorrow and I don't know if I'll have time to review it. Um, so if I'm sounding a little tired and worn out, it's because I am both tired and worn out. Um, this is Iron Man number one, uh, or I should say Iron Man volume 37, number one. Marvel really likes to relaunch their titles every 2 days, it feels like. And this is the most recent, but it sounded promising, and so I went ahead and picked it up. First of all, check out this wraparound cover. Usually, I'm not a huge fan of wraparound covers because, like, it's kind of hard to make out everything that's going on, when it's like this, because you're only seeing like half the picture. But I think this one turned out pretty good. Um, so anyway, Iron Man has been kind of a mess the last couple years. When I was first getting into comics, like really into comics and reading, like starting to read them and everything. Um, Brian Michael Bendis was still on the book, and he had introduced Riri Williams, um, who was an absolute annoyance every single page panel she was in. And Tony Stark was like missing for half of that run, and I like then they were his body was missing, but his intelligence was like stored on a computer. I don't even know. It's been a mess for a couple years, and then there was like an Iron Man 2020, like that was the actual title of the series, and I have no idea what it was about, but it sounds like typical Marvel SJW crap. Um, so when I saw the previews for this, and it was saying that they were taking Iron Man back to his roots, um, and kind of taking him back down to just a rich guy with a suit of armor. Um, that sounds like a book that I want to read. That's why I enjoyed, the first Iron Man movie all the way back in 2008. It wasn't it wasn't that complicated, guys. Just make a cool dude, cool rich dude, have a cool suit of armor, and have him fight some bad guys. That's all we simpletons need to be entertained. Um, as far as the first issue goes, this was not the worst one I've read. I wouldn't say it's nearly the best either. um, but it was like was I stayed engaged for the majority of it. And it's nice. Usually, like Marvel books these days have like this blurb explaining the origins or the superhero's origins and like what happened in the last issue. But there's nothing of that sort here, which is nice. Of course, there wouldn't be a previous issue to this, but there's still nothing like Tony Stark was a rich billionaire selling or selling arms, and his life was changed, and I don't know. It's just nice not having that. I know who Iron Man is. I'm just let me read my story. um, I thought this was interesting. Iron Man created by Stan Lee, Larry Liebert, Don Heck, and Jack Kirby. I did not know it was like a um four dude creative team that came up with Iron Man. That would be such a fun last name to have, like Don Heck. Ah, heck, get over here. Oh man, all right. I like the art that was in this. It's it's very Marvel-y, Marvel type art. Um, you don't see many DC books that look like this, where it's kind of like a photorealistic look. I don't know if like the artist, who was the artist? Uh, hmm. So they're calling it. Oh wait, here we go. I was looking at design. I'm like, that would be an interesting title for the artist, but it's Cafu. Oh, and the Iron Man armor design in this was designed by Alex Ross, and he also did the cover. And I've mentioned before on this channel how much I love Alex Ross's art. It is like that cool, realistic painting style, and he always does like the legacy look, so the um, classic suits, classic looks. Or I'm really into it. But anyway, I don't know. I don't really know Marvel writers or artists, or I mean, I guess I know a couple, but I don't know who this Cafu person or company or whatever is, but they did some interesting art. So it starts off with Iron Man being a cool superhero. He's punching a bad guy, um, presumably saving the day. It looks, I don't know, this looks like maybe some kind of bank or something. There's this girl playing violin. She's told to leave, and then, like, as soon as she leaves, they crash through the window. And then Iron Man proceeds to fly. I don't. What was this villain's name? Uh, that's one thing that I that's fun about reading Marvel comics is it's like every issue I learn a new character from the universe. Because I mean, honestly, before the MCU, I was really not a Marvel person. I knew Spider Man, and I had seen the '70s Captain America movie. That was basically it. Um. Oh, and in this comic, his AI is called Boss. I miss Jarvis, man. I wish they would bring Jarvis back. That's always been my favorite AI um, incarnation. Whatever this villain's name is, Iron Man flies him up into the satellite, and there's a couple of these throughout the book, but it's like basically like a Twitter feed where Iron Man. Oh, so I guess the villain's name was Terrax. Terrax has exited the solar system and is no longer a threat. And you got all these responses basically roasting Tony Stark. It's like, cool man, you destroyed ComTV's satellite. Next one is, my internet's still out because of this nonsense. No TV for 6 days, thanks. And then the last one is actually from the company that owned this satellite. And they're like, yeah, our legal team will be contacting you re our satellite's destruction. That's great stuff right there. Um, so we see Iron Man or Tony Stark actually giving an interview here. So it kind of seems like it's going through like a week in the life of Tony Stark slash Iron Man, because it starts on Monday, and then we got Tuesday, and so Tony Stark has like emptied his, or he's liquefied his assets and has like withdrawn like $65 million or something like that. 65 billion. Sorry, excuse me, I forget how rich Tony Stark is. And so he's doing this interview with this business analyst, I guess, and um so basically he's like saying, yeah, I'm trying to get back to basics. I don't need like I want to get back to my roots, because sometimes when you have all this extra stuff, you actually forget who the man is that you were to build all of it in the first place. And I thought that was a really I don't know, uh, good um, character moment for Tony Stark, and there's some good philosophy behind that. Um, Here's another one of those blurbs. So he posts a quote: "The clearest way into the universe is through a forest wilderness." And then this dude says the guy who made the internet have emotions. And then this last one, cool, take a hike then. Boom, roasted. What's this dude's name? Cantwell, um, Robert Cantwell, Christopher Cantwell. I think everybody's first name is Robert. I don't, I don't know. So yeah, then we're at Wednesday. Tony Stark is car shopping. He wants like a classic car, and he ends up with this like '78 Dodge Aspen. So it's like totally, late '70s, '80s car. Um, and then he goes and does like a street race. Oh, and I thought this was interesting. So part of the huge mess that has been Iron Man over the last like 3 years, he and the Wasp, who is not, I don't think it's the same Wasp as uh, the Ant Man and the Wasp movie. It's like a different Wasp because this Wasp's name is Janet. But they had like this relationship, and it was weird, and yeah. So this is Christopher Cantwell saying, "Yeah, that's over," and he does it in a very like clear cut, simple way. I feel like basically this first issue is like trying to put an end to all the shenanigans that's happened over the last 3 years. Um, so like she comes up and is like, "I just wanted to tell you face to face that I've moved on. I think it's what's best." And Tony says, "I agree." And she's like, "Yeah, cool. Anyway, take care." And then she just flies away. And it's like, that's that. That is, I think that's how we have all felt about Iron Man. It's like, yeah, this just isn't working out. I think it's best if we moved on. And it's like, yeah, I agree. Let's move on. So, way to go, Mr. Cantwell, for um, moving Iron Man forward in his story. Um, so the street race scene was kind of cool. Um, he races this deaf guy, and they actually included some sign language in one of the panels, which is pretty cool. And I don't know what he's trying to spell. Like they're just showing him signing different letters, I guess, because like ERL that doesn't really spell anything. But um, then we have. Let's see. Do you have the next day yet? Oh no. So he goes to this big upscale party, and oh, there's another one of these like Twitter blurbs, and so Iron Man posts hosting old friends in NYC tonight. Hashtag am I a New Yorker yet? Because of course he has like that uh, home in Malibu, and the first response is no, and then the second one is so you swore off tech, but you're throwing a party for a bunch of CEOs and billionaires. Cool. And then Tony Stark, hero of the common man. It's just kind of funny to see Tony Stark being roasted by Twitter. It's entertaining. I don't know. Something about it just made me laugh. Um, so he meets up with this old friend, and I guess she's a superhero named Hellcat. Again, I don't know that character at all. But anyway, he shows her kind of the his suit that he's wearing, and it's like the old fashioned, you know, the he doesn't have like that heads up display system. It's just the open eyes here. And I always really thought Iron Man suit up scenes were so cool. Like in the Iron Man movie from 2008 when he suits up. Ah, man, that's a cool scene. So you kind of get the same thing here where he's suiting up, and it's like a very old school, putting it on one piece at a time. It's not like that nanobot technology that we got in Avengers Infinity War and then Endgame, where like basically it's like a magic suit where he just taps a button and poof, he's Iron Man. He actually like has to put this on one piece at a time. It connects together. It's an actual suit of armor. Um, so I thought that was really cool, and he looked so cool just standing right there. So another win for this book, and I always thought it was cool when you could actually see Tony Stark's eyes through the Iron Man mask. It's like, yes, you see the man in the Iron mask. You see the man behind the suit of armor. Um, so anyway, then him and Hellcat go on like a patrol of New York. Um, and it's like a lot of then we get into like a lot of talking, which was kind of boring. Basically, Tony's rehashing, yes, I want to be a better, simpler man, and I don't want to forget who I am, yada yada yada. And then they discover this. I'm not gonna call him a supervillain because he was just kind of a like sea level bad guy named Unicorn, and he's got this like helmet that shoots like this I don't know, laser beam, I guess. But anyway, he's robbing like a museum or something. Um, so they have a fight, and it turns out he was um, stealing a Gutenberg Bible, and like I think there's only 21 still existing. Um, but he was stealing it for his boss, which he only refers to as the other. So I'm sure this is setting up the first villain for the first arc of this run. And so anyway, they take down the bad guy. I think the Bible gets destroyed in the process. Um, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it does because here we go. Another blurb, Twitter blurb. So Iron Man posts, I know that one of the 21 existing Gutenberg Bibles was destroyed in our battle with Unicorn, but there was really nothing I could do. And everyone's like, yeah, right. Blasphemy, you love to see it. Iron Man sucks. Fat Tony in the house. Oh man, and then Iron Man just delete. This account has been deleted. Um, so he just is giving up on Twitter, which I'd say is a good call, my friend. But anyway, we see this guy who is like earlier in the book. He was like at that party. Um, so anyway, I assume he's gonna be this villain for this first story arc here. Um, and then we get this really cool next page. Issue number 2. Um, Again, you gotta love Alex Ross's art. Like you can just see the smoke rising off of this armor. You can kind of see his eyes in the shadows there. It's all chrome. Very, very cool. Um, so yeah, next, Iron Man takes the fight to the streets, and plenty of his former foes are lined up to face him. But lurking on the horizon is a threat Tony and the entire cosmos hasn't seen in years. So I guess I I'm interested. You sold me, Mr. Christopher Cantwell. I will be buying issue 2 to see what this foe is that Iron Man in the cosmos hasn't seen in years. This is an Iron Man we haven't seen in years. So, thank you for bringing back uh, a, a Tony Stark that I can actually read without wanting to bang my head against the wall. um, so anyway, this was a very good issue. Overall, just reviewing it made me like it even more. um, and I'm hoping that issue 2 will continue this good version of Tony Stark. And it's not necessarily like the Tony Stark from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This is more of like the old school classic Tony Stark that um that was like before Robert Downey Jr.'s version. And it's kind of nice getting that cuz ever since Robert Downey Jr., all we've had is his version of Iron Man, which is fine cuz like it's a good version of Iron Man, but it's about time to get, kind of that classic older version of Tony Stark back. And so yeah, this book definitely seems to be headed in the right direction. I'm looking forward to picking up issue 2, and hopefully it doesn't disappoint. So, with that, thank you for watching. You subscribers, make sure you're still subscribed because, it's real easy to hit that unsubscribe button. And I guess turn the bell on for notifications. I guess that's how YouTube works. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.